All right, good viewers. I am Omojewo Gederumuse for Sima World International. Today we'll be looking at the topic titled Your Identity, My Identity, Our Identity. Whenever the question of who are you pops up, many respondents tend to reply with surname and first name. But the question is beyond that. It's asking, what is your identity? What is it that defines you? What is it that makes you up? What is it that makes your personality? That is what it's all about. And when that question is asked, it means you have to be conscious of who you are. The great philosopher Socrates once stated, he said, man, know thyself. How do you know yourself? You have to live to your full potential. Except you begin to live to your full potential, realizing consciously of your daily activities, daily actions, daily attitude, you may never be able to live to your full potential. You may never be able to define who you are. And that calls our attention to be careful of what we do every day, to be conscious of what we do, to do away with those attitudes that doesn't beautify us, to do away with those attitudes that doesn't add value to us, and to add value to those, to build those attitudes that add value to us. We look at those things that helps us daily, that strengthen us daily, that strengthen our character, that strengthen our views, that strengthen our goals, and we go after those things until we begin to live for these defined visions. We may never be able to define who we are. We may be underusing our full potentials. Now, coming to the case of Sarah. Sarah in the Bible was old, and she never even knew who she was. Even her family called her barren. She called herself barren. Her husband taught her to be barren. Her community taught her to be barren. Even when the Lord came and said, Sarah, you know you are going to have a son. You are going to have a child. She doubted God because she doesn't know who she is. She's not conscious of what God has said about her. In the book of Genesis, the scripture says, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. And what? Dominate the earth. Sarah forgot that scripture that God has blessed every creature to be fruitful. And when God said you are going to have a child, Sarah doubted God. Today we see the proof of Sarah's children in the person of the children of Israelites scattered abroad all over the nation. Sarah saw herself as a barren, but God was seeing a mother of many nations. We come to the story of Joseph. Joseph knew who he was. The brother were seeing a dreamer. They saw a potential slave, a good slave. Potiphar's wife was seeing a sex too. But Joseph understood who he was, and he never gave in to those gimmicks. He knew what God has created him to be. He defined who he was, and he lived consciously to that potential. And at the end of the day, from prison, he went to the palace. From zero, he became a hero. He was an instrument that kept nations for years. He was an instrument that preserved generations because he understood who he was. Now we come to the case of Apostle Paul. He was seen as a murderer. He was seen as a persecutor. But God was seen a great evangelist. Until we begin to define who we are, until we begin to understand who we are, until we begin to live to our full potential, we may not make impact in this world. The world is calling us to live and harness our full potential so that we can make impact in this world. Today, the take-home is that those things that doesn't add value to your character, that doesn't add value to your life, you have to do away with them and begin to live for those things that add value to your life. They are very crucial. They are very important. Those things that beautify your daily goals, those things that add value to your future, those things that add value to your living, those things that add value to your character. Begin to identify them and begin to live for them. Begin every day, every drop of learning, every drop of attitude, every drop of good that you add to yourself will begin to manifest in your potential. Today, until you understand who you are, many nations are waiting for you. You may not fulfill. People will just die without fulfilling their purpose because some destiny are tied to you. Go out today and live to your full potential. I remain your host, Omojewo Gederumuse for Sima World. You can like and share our videos if you know they have blessed you at YouTube, Omojewo_Sima. Thank you very much.